I mean,
Oh, okay. You mean for streaming?
Oh wait, yeah. Give me a second.
I'd have no idea.
oh, the scenes are just like you've got the starting soon one, you've got the ending soon one, the offline one.
Mhm.
Like they're just like the different basically screens that you can swap between.
I'm just gonna have a PNG open. That's just gonna be. Give me a second. Let me just make something real quick. File new 1280 by. It's gonna be a disaster. I wish I had the music.
Disaster.
Disaster nonetheless, though.
It's fine. Chatting like maniacs is what we do.
I need drugs. Give me drugs.
Ooh. You know. Ooh. Why is your? Oh, it says you're purple.
What?
I'm
Oh,
not
right,
purple,
yeah.
good sir.
Your status on Discord is purple.
Yeah, there's a special streaming status.
That must be new because last time you streamed it.
It was there last time. Yeah, it's been there for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must not have seen it then.
Don't worry. I'm just gonna. I can't find it. Did I get rid of the template? I got rid of the fucking template.
Well, all of my questions are still in our chat, so you got half of them still.
Sounds like things are going great.
All the questions are in the Kahoot.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's fine. I just need to know what to do real quick. And as you know, I don't prepare for things ahead of time. Because why would you? Who would ever do something like that?
Wait, what are you trying to do?
You know
Like,
very
is there something I can help with?
Nothing. No, not the first part. The second part, once you get to that, yes, you can. Just setting up something to make it look nice, so you're not just so the people aren't just staring at a fucking Google Chrome page waiting for that to actually begin.
I mean, that's what's gonna be. That's probably what's my stream's gonna look like.
Give me a second. Dirty paper.
I mean, I did suggest opening up like an image of.
I'm opening up an image, so at least they're staring at something. It's a beautiful image of me and my good 2.5-inch long.
Okay, did I didn't. I hope I'll ask. Let's just not. Let's just not. I'm going to. Hey, I noticed something in the Discord chat that I realized would have been very important if I had missed. Would have led to the death of my parents, apparently.
I'm sorry. What the fuck? Oh,
Hey,
yes. I'm sorry.
You're the one who warned
Skelly's
that.
birthday. Yeah, Skelly's birthday. Yeah, if
Oh,
you didn't show up,
yes.
you'd die.
Oh, right, yeah.
I would kill your
So
parents.
I was going to ask if there was anything else important that I missed, but.
Profile. I need your profile images. Shit. I got this. I'm smart.
I'm a
I
bicycle.
plan ahead.
The smartest bicycle.
I
Okay.
fucking die.
At any rate, I hope you enjoy orange bicycles.
99 love to balloons. Something stuff.
Why are you talking about lift balloons on the wall?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to not have a heart attack right now.
Are you having struggles finding the Kahootie?
No, I have the Kahoot. I'm just trying to make it interesting for the viewers who none of them show up. So if anyone tends to show up.
Okay.
I'm adding little fun images that will make people enjoy the stream.
Fun
You know, you could
images.
just let them
Ooh.
also join the Kahoot.
Oh yeah, I'm planning to do
Yeah,
that. But the problem is we have to teach Skelly about history
gotta
first. So
we gotta do the lecture first. That's the issue.
Yeah. Have you planned this at all, or is it just gonna be completely improvised?
Oh, I didn't
This
plan
is
the lecture at all.
Improvisation
I just
at best.
Nice.
Kahoot is planned though. I finished a Kahoot last night at 4 in the morning while watching Re:Zero.
Yeah, we planned the Kahoot ahead of time, but we didn't. So we've got the general topics basically that we're going to talk about. I believe I'm going to be the one talking first because my time period comes first.
No, excuse me. No, we're going 1900s, 1600s, and 1700s. Get the program.
Clearly. At any rate, I'm going to be covering trying to jump between major history topics. So I'm going to be talking about religion, politics, war,
So all the fun stuff.
colonization,
All the
Yep.
fun stuff. indeed.
colonization, and a bonus question. So, yeah. Bonus thing.
Can I
But
open
yeah,
a different tab? Can I open a different
Nice.
tab?
bonus thing kind of falls into his section, but it's about the UK, so.
Come on, let me please. Please let me. Please let me do. I just want to
Bonus
take a
topic.
picture. I just want to take a pic. I just want to get a. Does anyone have a image of their profile picture that I can just take, where like in a circle?
I don't think I've got it in a circle, but I can take one.
Alright. Because I used to be able to on the old Discord before they decided to change it, I could just copy and paste the image.
In the circle?
Oh wait, you want
Yeah.
anyone's profile picture?
Yeah, I just need
You
profile
want it
picture.
in the you want it in the circle, or do you want it outside of the circle? That's
I
the real
can
question.
make the circles by myself. You can just I just need the
Wait.
profile picture.
Never mind. Apparently, I do not have mine.
I think I have mine still. Give me a sec.
I'm gonna improvise 'cause I know I have mine. Where is it? Yeah, I have a branding one. It just has all my branding stuff in it.
Ooh, I could send you the flag for the group too. There's the image
Seriously.
for our group.
Please let me why can't I copy and paste? I wanna die.
No death. Sorry. Death is
Fuck
not
you, just out of
acceptable
spite,
at
I'm
this time.
dying.
Please don't
No,
die on
I don't
stream.
think you are. Okay. There's. There you go. There's the image you wanted.
Shut up. Yeah, I'm just gonna. There we go. That's a pretty alright circular image of mine. C, V. Get rid of that.
Okay. Maybe if we had more than a day to prepare this, we might have come up with like slides or something.
Yeah.
I did offer to give you more time, but
Yeah, but then
that
I
is
just
fair,
decided no.
but also. Yeah, and I just kind of went along with it. Plus, I'm done signing up for fall courses at least, so. Yeah, except for some slight issues, but that's fine. I'll deal with them.
I theoretically could have done more stuff, but I mean, why would I do that?
Yeah, who does that sort of thing, you know? Okay. I keep. So I've got Discord open in another thing, and I keep closing it. So I keep forgetting that I need to look back at the questions, so that I actually cover the topics that I've.
Yeah, just
written
make
on.
sure you know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
all right. Can someone else send their profile picture? If not, then
Or do you want mine? Or
yes, yeah.
Jam, are you
in here?
listening?
Alright,
No. Jam, do you want to
Worst
send
comes to
him
worst with
your
Jam, I'll
profile
just
picture?
I'll just look up Jam PNG. I feel like you've sent me yours before. So
I can.
I probably have.
yeah, I looked.
I vaguely remember doing it.
apparently not.
Never mind.
I know. Wait, I know. I made a gay version of yours. Where's the gay one? I will deal with that. Search. Young blood. From user young blood. I just need to search. It's gonna be. There's 262 messages on this thing.
wait, images. Type
Yeah,
images.
Are you
it has
sure it's
image.
Wait, images?
only that few?
Image. Has image. Holy fuck, we have sent way too much stuff in this chat. Jesus. There's 137 images. Okay, good.
No, you can do like from Youngblood has image.
Oh.
Yeah.
From Youngblood. Has
Yeah, has colon image.
image. Here we go.
Ew.
Ultra propaganda.
It's
Okay, only 28.
Huh.
Okay. A beautiful Canadian American Union. Beautiful.
I mean, I've said this before. So long as in your fictional scenarios you give Canada 10 states,
Yep.
it's
Oh, give me
livable.
someone's at my door. Give me a second.
It's fictional though, since it's never happening.
My dad called and wanted to talk to me, but no interruptions.
The Ouija
Nope.
board start moving.
Here we
or
go.
something.
Gay Skelly. Gay Skelly. Okay, thank God.
Clearly.
Okay.
Okay, well, you enjoyed that then.
Out of context, just randomly screaming "Gay Skelly" is very weird.
I found the Gay Skelly.
I mean,
As
in
opposed to
context,
the
it's still
regular
pretty weird, let's be
Grace
fair.
Kelly.
It's very weird in context too. Let's just be fair there.
I found the Gay. Okay, give me a second. All right, here we go. Fuck. His ass. Hey, there. Okay, there
Fuck
we
his
go.
ass.
I think you said "fuck Jesus."
Let's, let's just not. Just not.
All right, I have,
Let's just.
all right, I have the important ones. Fuck it, whatever.
Make it-
I don't need Holmans.
I gave you mine. I
No,
sent you it.
no, but I don't. Not enough time. Sorry.
This is why you keep your PFP the same for all eternity.
I haven't
Yeah,
changed my. I don't
definitely
think I've
why.
ever changed my profile picture.
You definitely have.
You out.
But yeah, I did. It was. I've changed it only 3
It used
times.
to
I
be
think.
it used
Yeah,
to
it
be a
used-
tank.
Yeah, it used to be the KV2
And-
with a Finland, like a little Finland on it.
Yeah, that thing.
Then there was one when I wasn't in this chat. It used to be an Irish flag I made once.
Oh yeah, that. I think.
Should I
yeah.
review the regions
That's
of
it.
Europe for you first? I feel
Holy
like I
fuck, yes, no. Maybe. It has to be incredibly brief
then-
though, because that would be.
Is
Yeah,
that
I'm not-
Peacock's
I'm just
tier
gonna-
list? Europe's tier list.
I am starting in the west and I am moving east for the regions of Europe. And I will be pretty brief.
I'm just gonna save this image as a PNG in my pictures, and it'll be called fuckyou.png. Oh no. Fuck. Yeah, it's fuckyou.png.
I don't want to know what type of profanity you have your other images saved as.
Trust me, it's actually not that bad. Usually, it's actually has something to do with it.
Like I said.
Keyword.
I don't want to know.
Usually, it's like just British soldier.png, British civilian.png, something like that. Then there's sometimes just fuck you.png, like this one.
Oh,
Scully, I
The
made
regions Europe?
I made this in case you want to show this instead of just a blank screen. I rushed the fuck out of this.
Ooh.
Don't mind that you're just a rainbow flag on it. You'll have to deal with it.
Dollars.
Going to hell.
I'll be right back.
Edit
It makes me
scenes.
look like the student though.
It does kind of make
Okay.
Peacock look like a student.
It's fine. I'm the teacher now.
Create scene projector. What is it? Okay, now how do I do this and only this?
What do you mean?
I just want to show that image for while we're explaining everything.
Okay, if you can create a scene,
Yeah.
like just add a new scene and then delete all the there's nothing in there, but then just put an image on it, like an actual, just add the source image, and then new source and pick whatever.
So wait, create scene projector.
What?
I'm sorry. What?
You mean
Alright,
on
so wait,
OBS,
give me a
right?
second. Yeah, I'm on Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah, in the bottom left where all your scenes are.
Yeah.
There's a plus button.
New scene.
Yeah, then name it whatever.
Yeah.
And then in sources,
so-
there's also a plus button.
Wow, all my stuff's gone when I opened up this new scene. Image. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Oh, wait.
image, add source.
Oh my god.
Browse. Give me a second. Pictures. Give me pictures. Fuck you, .png. Here we go. Done. Yay! It's small. Fuck. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. No, it's not perfect. There we go. No, it's. Why do you do this to me? I hate this. I hate Streamlabs. There we go.
If you're going to be
Okay,
swapping
little bit-
scenes and stuff, then you might want to do
Yeah.
turn in the studio mode, just to make sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna have this open until we get to the Kahoot. So once that happens, I just hit new scene, right, and go back to the original one, right?
What? Yeah, but that no,
Since
you just you
pop
just then
up
switch to the Kahoot scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this one, yeah, the new scene has an image in it, and that's it. And then I just click new scene, and we'll bring that up, right?
You don't need to make a new scene. You can just click back.
Yeah. No, I already had. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have.
Oh,
the
did you call it new
old-
scene?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just both called new scene. So just go from scene to scene, practically.
Yeah, yeah. You just go to the scene you want and then
Alright.
click the transition button.
Alright.
Yeah.
I don't even have a transition. I just. Oh yeah, wait, transition as in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. 99 love balloons. JK just trolling. Fuck you, bro. All right, I'm gonna go live.
Good luck.
You're here too. Why are you saying good luck? You better not. You better not say shit. By the way.
Oh no,
I
I
You'd
am.
be like, go. Wait, Scully, are you streaming?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying shit. Then I was about to bring up something Holman would say. So, yeah, nope, just don't say anything dumb, Holman.
No, I'm too busy creating work. Good boy.
Are we
So,
ready?
yeah, if you want to show that, Scully, you can.
It's alright. I've got a different image I'll show.
You also have to pay me royalty, which you should totally do.
All $0. Sorry. You're
A
right.
Yank and Canuck teach a Brit history. So, yeah, I assume
Yeah,
just
I
chatting.
guess that's
Yeah, yeah.
what it is. Yeah, just chatting.
Confirm and go live.
Best.
Update. And we are live. Should I add BGM in the background?
You can definitely.
I feel like that's look at whatever.
Uh,
I feel like it make it a little bit more interesting. I just gotta find BGM. Oh, it does. Hopefully, it
well,
fucking
we've
slow this
spent
down.
40 minutes doing crap.
No, we've only spent 20 minutes doing crap. Remember, we got in here like 7:20.
Oh, I'm sorry. We spent 20 minutes doing crap, and we spent 20 minutes before then
Alright.
trying to get together so we could do crap.
Alright, I've got my blank screen ready. For when
Okay,
you
mine's
guys aren't
ready.
doing anything.
I'm just turning it down.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I got Blues
Okay.
BGM on in the background. There we go.
Shall we begin then? Okay, so your European history crash course has begun, Skelly.
Nice.
That's what it's being called now. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so let's start with the regions like we mentioned before. So the basics of Europe, of course, as is generally known, is there's a split between West and East. There's smaller regions that are a little more important for helping figure out where things are in Europe. So in Iberia, there's Spain and Portugal, basically. That peninsula that goes off. There's the Italian peninsula, which for a long period of time was not united into Italy. So there were many separate states there. There's a Central Europe area. It's in the time period I'll be talking about, at least it's more considered Central Europe than what we consider Central Europe now. So there's where modern France, Germany, and the countries that surround it are. There's Scandinavia with, well, and or the Nordic countries, whichever one you'd like to refer to it as. Technically, Scandinavia is closer, but anyways, there's Denmark, Sweden, Norway there. There's the British Isles, which I assume you know what's there, considering that you're a Brit yourself. And there's the Balkans, which has places like Greece, Serbia, contained large empires at the time and was generally an in-between zone for many empires. And then there's basically Russia. And Poland. So, and that is generally the regions of Europe, I'd say. So for Europe in general, there's a lot of different topics to talk about. So do you have a topic you'd like to learn about first there? Just
You're the teacher.
choices to you if you want it. But okay, anyways, let's go for religions. So in Europe, for Europe in this time period, there were three different religions that were majorly present in some way. The most major of them all would be Christianity, which was the state religion of most countries in Europe at the time. It exists. It existed. It exists. It hangs out there. It's been very important for the progression of politics during this time, especially. The next most common one in Europe is Islam. So, in certain regions of Europe, at this time, specifically in the Balkans, Islam was prevalent and being spread around by the Ottoman Empire. So, after the fall of Constantinople, which before our time period that we're dealing with now, the Ottoman Empire came around, Turkic Muslim Empire, and they conquered a bunch of the Balkans. They made their way all the way up to where about Transylvania is now. So that was where Islam was most present, and then the third one would be Judaism. So although there were no states at this time that had Judaism as their official religion, and there were many issues with the treatment of people who practiced this religion, the diaspora of Jewish people in Europe was quite large, and they were split in the Jewish diaspora is split into a few different sections, but the most common one when you're talking about European history is the Ashkenazi Jewish person, which is the ones who were in Germany and that area. Another common one is the Sephardi, which they're the ones that existed in Spain and that area. So those were the three major religions that existed in Europe back then. Across Europe, there are a few important countries that existed at that time. So there is Spain, which existed in the Iberian Peninsula, would form the Spanish Empire with colonization. France, also a colonial power, they would unite their region better and then go on to conquer more of the New World. There's the different British powers. So obviously England, under which Wales was already under at this time. There's Scotland, and then there's the fragmentary Irish states, which technically belonged to England, but in reality, most of it did not, except for a small region known as the Pale. It would begin to be conquered, and then eventually, by the point of the 1700s, it would be largely owned by England. Once the Protestant Reformation comes around, there will be colonization in Ireland as well by both Scottish people and English people. There's Denmark-Norway, a union between the crowns of Denmark and Norway, which was important for a fair amount of time, and Sweden in the Nordic area. In Germany and Netherlands and that whole area, the major country that was known was the Holy Roman Empire, which, despite its name, as Voltaire famously is known for quoting, it was not really Holy Roman nor an empire. Not holy generally is taken to mean in Voltaire's quote that it was not run by cardinals, basically. Not Roman. They did not actually own Rome for pretty much any period of time. They owned it for a brief period of time, way back at their beginning, but they derive the name Roman more so from the fact that their emperors are appointed by the Pope. They're also elected. It's a very weird situation. The empire part is because the empire slowly fragmented, and for a very long period of time during this time, it was an empire in name only, basically. So, and moving eastward, there's the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which had come around in the 1600s, I do believe. Yes, he did. Sorry, that's thing in Discord, but yes, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It dominated most of Poland, besides what used to belong to Germany. Anyways, most of Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Belarus, and Ukraine. That's what the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was. In the Balkans, of course, you've got the Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary, which is losing out and has in some loss out to it. Woo! And then you've got Russia, which continually gets stronger and stronger by moving eastward farther and farther. So there are several important wars to cover in this time period. The most important two in the time period that I'm covering, I would say, are the Wars of Religion and the Napoleonic Wars. So, as stated, they are more than one war each.
Yeah, the religion was of the Crusades, right?
No, so
Wait,
the
what?
Crusades were their own thing. So
But they were religious wars.
Oh, the Crusades were religious wars, but the Wars of Religion were not the Crusades.
Great.
There were, yeah, I know. Teasing. The Crusades happened before the time, but the idea of the Crusades was basically they were trying to conquer areas that they felt were important for the moving forward of Christianity, whether or not yeah, dumb. Anyways, not the best move. Dumb idea. But the Wars of Religion basically were the fights between Catholics and Protestants, to say it lightly. So, after the Protestant Reformation, which is a very important happening in the religious existence of Europe, in which basically half of Europe left the Catholic Church. The two different sides fought wars, a lot of them. Slowly, the Wars of Religion moved beyond being purely religious and turned into a political fight. So, in about what's considered the third stage of the Wars of Religion, a major Catholic power, France, was fighting on the Protestant side. Okay, so that the wars of religion were basically the last wars that were really fought on the basis of religion in Europe. Not that there weren't wars that were religious in secondary nature that happened afterwards, but the primary nature of wars was almost exclusively politics from that point onwards. So the Napoleonic Wars. There's a whole lot of them. So before the Napoleonic Wars are the Wars of the French Revolution, which are also kind of Napoleonic Wars, but not really, because Napoleon was a important general in them. A lot of his famous things that he did happened in the Wars of the French Revolution as opposed to the Napoleonic Wars. His famous conquest of northern Italy, basically, all the way down until northern Italy and then the rest of Italy, all happened in the Wars of the French Revolution, as did a fair few famous moments. The shot of Great Fire also happened before the Wars of Napoleonic Wars. Napoleon, interesting character. Born in Corsica, which is a Italic island, but was part of the France. He was a minor noble who managed to work his way up to emperor through skill, talent, assassination, and a lot of coups, basically. Went on to conquer like all of Europe beyond. Conquered and made tributary states or forced allies all of Europe except for the Nordic countries, Russia, and the British Isles. So that's a pretty big thing. And that also doesn't include the Ottomans, but they weren't really in a position that he was fighting them, except for the time he went to Egypt, which was also during the Wars of French Revolution, which happened beforehand. Napoleon could have stopped and kept what he had at pretty much any time, even after his big official downfall, which is his famous, or infamous, perhaps is a better term, invasion of Russia, in which he lost over 80% of the troops that he took with him, if I'm remembering correctly. He still could have, if he had have surrendered earlier than he did, he could have remained as Emperor of France with its considered natural borders. So up to the Rhine and basically, so that would include Belgium and the Rhineland of Germany, which is a fair chunk more land than France has now. And then to the Alps. But he didn't surrender at that time, and so he lost. Got kicked out because the monarchs at the time wanted to set an example that you didn't just execute a monarch, which was very important because of the French Revolution, in which they executed monarchs. He was sent to an island off of the Italian coast where he would act as a ruler, as the Prince of Elba, basically, which is the island that he was sent to. He came back to France, caused more trouble, was caught in the Battle of Waterloo, kicked out again, and sent to St. Helena, which is an island in the middle of the Southern Atlantic. And he wouldn't do very well, died at a younger age than maybe thought, in his 40s or 50s. Yep, Napoleon existed. So, as for the European influence in North America, there were several countries that took part in colonization, like mentioned before: Spain, France, England. There's also Portugal, Sweden, and Denmark even took place in part, and so did the Netherlands. But for England, for a country that did not start colonizing very early on, properly at it, that is, it still ended up with a pretty fair chunk of territory in the New World. So they did not start properly colonizing until the reign of James the First and Seventh of England and Scotland. Before then, there was some minor parts, but not really proper. A final bit on the colonization of England is the revolt of the American colonies, after which England kind of stopped caring about the New World so much. The 13 colonies basically revolted. They could have lost, but didn't. And America happened. Well, slavery. Touchy subject. Not going to talk much on it, but there have been a few efforts to dissolve it, is what I'm going to focus on. First country to ban slavery, as far as I can recall and research, is France during the French Revolution. Unfortunately, that did not really go into proper effect. So their colonies, which is where the slaves actually lived, it didn't get properly freed and it was revoked. It's a much more complicated situation than that, but that's basically what happened. And then slavery returned to France, and then the next country to properly get rid of it and actually keep it being gotten rid of is Denmark, Norway, which banned it in the early 1800s, just before the United Kingdom came around to it. Bonus thing, woo. First off, do you know when the UK came to be?
Nope.
Okay, so the UK came to be under Anne, Queen Anne of England and Scotland, who brought it together in 1707. It didn't, although the countries worked in close cooperation because they shared the same monarch, they weren't really the same country until then. So the UK's history is considered separate and the same to both England and Scotland's. Acts of unions stipulated a few things, like that numbers of monarchs would be whichever one's number was higher from Scotland or England. And there was a few other things that took place, but an important thing is that it was considered a brand new kingdom, and so former houses that had existed didn't really exist any longer. So the main house that ruled the UK for most of its history was the House of Hanover, which started with George I and ended with Victoria. I think that's all I wanted to cover for today, so your turn, Youngblood. Woo!
Brayden?
Ooh, I believe it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty then. So, I'm gonna start off in the, if I'm correct, the late 1800s. So there's this thing. It's called France. It exists.
Hey.
Gee, boo. No one likes it. It's France. Who cares about it too much? Honestly, quite terrible. But there's this place called North German Confederation, which was made out of Prussia, and some states decided to take over.
Yeah.
Not as cringe. Still a little bit cringe, but not as cringe. You know, Prussia, or the North German Confederation, wants to reunite Germany as a fully united German state. But there's this one nation stopping it, and that is France. So,
Yeah.
Old France and
Otto
Napoleon
von
III.
Bismarck, this badass of a human being, kind of makes the French look like a bunch of dickheads by editing notes in a way to make it look like he's insulting the Kaiser, who's the leader of the North German Confederation. So, basically, what he does is get, by being kind of a dick himself, get the Germans, including the ones who aren't already in the Confederation, to invade France. And it is a disaster for the French. My God, Napoleon III, who was the now Emperor of France, Napoleon comes back again. He gets his ass kicked all the way back to fucking Paris. Not even, because he gets captured before he can even get there. What a dumbass, I know. So yeah, France gets its ass kicked for the first time. We still got a couple more times where it happens, but this is the first time. Germany wins. Germany unites. Now there's a German Empire, and it's strong and it's big. Not a lot of people like it. America doesn't like it. Britain doesn't like it. France doesn't like it because France just got its ass kicked. The Russians don't mind it, but then there's this new guy, Kaiser Wilhelm II. Well, let me explain. Kaiser Wilhelm I, first Kaiser of the German Empire, he fucking dies. He's old. Then this next guy, I believe his younger son. I might not be right about this. I'm not. Kaiser Ferdinand, but I don't remember the fucking name. He's not important. He dies in 99 days. No one likes him. Well, no one likes him because he fucking dies. Then his son, Kaiser Wilhelm II, comes along. Kaiser Wilhelm II is a fucking idiot. He's a fucking moron. There's no way to put it otherwise. People love him, but he was a dumbass. He ruins the German Empire by ruining the relation with the Russian Empire and making Russia ally with France. What a dumbass, I know. God, that man should be dead. Good thing he is. So, with all that happening, we move into the 1900s. The era of peace, love, everyone's gonna love each other. Nothing bad's gonna happen. My God, that sunset is just fucking lovely. Yeah, that's all happening. And while this is all going on, I'm going to the 1900s where we look into the Balkans. Now I'm going to tell you something about the Balkans. This is a trend through history. It fucking sucks. No one there likes each other. Everyone hates each other there. And it is nothing but a den of war crimes. I just pissed off anyone from the Balkans. So, it all starts off, I believe, 1912. Balkan War begins. Where the Kingdom of Greece, Kingdom of Serbia, Kingdom of Montenegro, and Tsardom of Bulgaria decide to create this thing called the Balkan League. They decide, hey, fuck the Ottoman Empire. Get out of Europe, you cunts. They fight the Ottoman Empire and kick their ass in a couple months. It expands, nations expand a bit. Greece gets a little bit of Thrace. Bulgaria gets a bit of Thrace and some parts of Macedonia. But Serbia gets some parts of Macedonia as well. They don't like that. So Bulgaria, being a dick, decides to invade their former allies. This goes bad for them because now not only are they at war with all of them, Romania, the Ottoman Empire, now join in to kick its ass as well to get some territory. Bulgaria gets its ass kicked. So that happens. Bulgaria is smaller than they were. Well, smaller than they were after the First War. So yeah, that's happening to them now. Now we get close to 1914. 1914, nothing bad's gonna happen. Who knows? Maybe there's be some peace because the British are promising Ireland to have free, some independence. Not really, but kind of. And then some Austrian guy gets shot in July because the Serb nationalist Gavrilo Princip wants, unite all the Slavs under Austria, in Austria-Hungary, mainly Bosnia. So this one,
Yugoslavia.
yep, this one guy, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he goes down to Sarajevo to witness a military parade. And while going through the streets, waving at everyone, a couple bombs are thrown at his car. Well, one bomb's thrown at his car and it misses. So he goes back, to I can't remember where the fuck it was he went. He talked to the person in charge of Sarajevo and decided to go back out into the streets to go visit the people who were wounded by the bomb. And while on his way to go visit the people with the bomb, who got hurt by the bomb, the driver takes a wrong turn and ends up getting stuck next to one of the assassins, Gavrilo Princip. Gavrilo Princip decides, kill him. And he does. Archduke Franz Ferdinand is now dead. Everything is terrible. Now that he's dead, Austria-Hungary's pissed at Serbia, gives Serbia some demands, and Serbia accepts all but one, in which will basically, get rid of all their independence by making Austrian officials allowed to investigate the assassination in Serbia. So Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, Russia, who's allies with Serbia, declares war on Austria for declaring war on Serbia. Germany, who's allies with Austria, declares war on Russia for declaring war on Austria for declaring war on Serbia. And then France, who's allies with Russia, declares war on Germany for declaring war on Russia for declaring war on Austria for declaring war on Serbia. Yeah, a lot happens. World War I has begun. Everything is bad now. So, we go into 1914. Things are really bad, and now the Germans, trying to quickly win this war, decide, hey, we're going to do this thing called the fucking Schlieffen Plan. We're going to rush through Belgium, and we're going to take out France, and then we're going to send all our troops from the west, take out the east, beat the Russian Empire. There we go. Peace is accomplished. That fails. They invade Belgium, and something happens. Specifically, the British join because they guaranteed the independence of Belgium. Now the British are involved. The war is bigger, and the Germans are stuck. They almost get to Paris, but then the French and the British kick their ass a little bit and push them back. Now there's this thing called trench warfare that's been created. Trenches are all along down the Western Front. Things are bad. People are going to die there. But before we get started there, Russia's trying to take bites out of Austria, and nothing's happening in Serbia. Nothing will happen in Serbia until like 1915. Yeah. But then our old good friend, the Ottoman Empire, who recently just got its ass kicked by the Balkans and then kicked Bulgaria's ass, decides to get involved too. They have some German ships pretend to be Ottoman ships and shell Russia. This gets the Ottoman Empire involved. Now the war is bigger. What a bunch of cunts. 1915, things don't get any better. Now Bulgaria is in the war on the side of well, not Bulgaria. I'm sorry, I went a little too ahead. Italy, who was actually allies with Austria-Hungary and Bulgaria, not Bulgaria, fucking Austria-Hungary and Germany. I'm retarded. They were part of the Triple Alliance, but Italy, looking to snatch some land from Austria, joins the Triple Entente, the Allies, basically. And now there's another front in the war, the Italian front. Things are getting worse. But don't worry, it gets worse. Japan joins the war on the side of the British because they're allies, and they decide to take some shit from the Germans. Now, doesn't seem like it can get much worse, but now Bulgaria gets involved to get some land they lost to Serbia. Serbia fucking dies. Serbia gets its ass kicked by Austria and Bulgaria and are forced to flee through Albania to get to Greece, indirectly getting Albania involved and kind of making Greece a hellhole. Things aren't getting good, but don't worry, it gets worse. Welcome to 1916, where in February of that year, the Battle of Verdun begins on the Western Front between the French and the Germans. This war will kill a fuckload of people. It's a very brutal war, and it's actually a battle that will most likely decide the war. And while Battle of Verdun's going on, there's the Battle of the Somme between the British and the Germans, and a lot of people are going to die here. Most people, honestly. This is one of the worst battles in human history when it comes to death count, because so many people fucking died. Bad shit's happening. But don't worry, it's only going to get worse. Russians start this thing called the Brusilov Offensive, which starts to, push into the German Empire and Austro-Hungarian Empire. Yeah. Now Romania, seeing their Russian allies kicking the ass of the Austrians and Germans, join in to go and grab Transylvania from Austria. Because Russia and France said, hey, Romania, you joined the war, we'll give you Transylvania. Fun fact about it, there was actually a separate treaty after they signed that one with Romania that said they would not honor that treaty with Romania. If you can't tell, the Entente is, they're kind of cunts. So, that's happening. Ottoman Empire, let's focus on that real quick. There's this land, no one really claims it. Basically modern day Saudi Arabia. There's this old guy, I can't remember his fucking name. I can't remember his fucking name. There's this thing called the Arab Revolt, where the Arabs rise up against the Ottoman Turks. And the British and French promise, hey, you do this, you'll get your independent Arab state going from Yemen to Syria. Fun fact, just like they did with Romania, they lied about that as well. They were not going to give them anything. The Entente are kind of douchebags. Doesn't make the Germans aren't the best either because they're committing war crimes in Belgium. This is all happening. Things are bad. We move into 1917 now. 1917. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Battle of Verdun and Battle of Somme both end in good old British and French victories. The Germans lose. That's bad for the Germans, good for the French and the British. But something not good for them is 1917 when the Russian Empire faces a lot of civil discontent because, a lot of people are dying. A lot of people are not a big fan of the Great War anymore because so many of their people are dying, they're starving, and honestly, the Tsar's kind of a douchebag. So, in February of 1917, they overthrow the Tsar. Yay, Tsar's gone, everything is good. Nope, because now there's a Russian Republic who's just going to keep the war going. No one likes that. So what they do is in October of that year, well, I believe November for us, but whatever. In October, there's these things called communists. Not a lot of people like communists because they're bad. But communists rise up in Russia and overthrow the Russian Republic. Yeah, everything has gotten fucking worse. But while that was happening, things are starting to get better because the best country in the world, created by Jesus Christ himself, the United States of America, joins the war against Germany. Why, you may ask? I don't know if you're asking why. Honestly, you're probably wanting to kill yourself right now. But still, listen. There's this thing called the Zimmerman Telegraph. The Zimmerman Telegraph is basically Germany, looking more like the fucking Americans are going to join the war. They send this shit to the Mexicans. And they're like, hey, Mexico, you join the war. If you go to war with the U.S. right now, we'll help you. You'll get Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas back. Yeehaw, you'll get Texas. This gets intercepted by the British. The British send it to America. America goes to war with Germany. Everything is bad. 1917, war happens. Stuff happens. Yes. 1918. Things are bad for the Central Powers. Though it looks like they won and they beat the Russians. Jesus Christ. They beat the Russians. Something else is bad is happening. The Central Powers are now getting their ass kicked on the Western Front and every other front. First things happen. Bulgaria drops out of the war because, Greece gets basically occupied by the Allies and forced to join the war without asking. What a bunch of cunts, I know. Bulgaria drops out first because they're getting their ass kicked. Then the Ottoman Empire drops out second because they're getting their ass kicked. Austria, at the end of October, drops out because they're getting their ass kicked. And last, on November 11th, 1918, on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, whatever the fuck, they drop. Germany signs the whole peace treaty. We're done. This shit sucks. Everything's good now. War is over. Now there's this thing, the Treaty of Versailles. Yes, Treaty Versailles, whatever. There's a bunch of fucking treaties. So, Austria-Hungary split up. There's now Czechoslovakia. There's now a Poland. Romania's bigger. Now there's a Yugoslavia. What the fuck is a Yugoslavia, maybe asking? You're probably not. Serbia, Montenegro, and some other Slavic areas in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, those are now Yugoslavia. Big. Italy's bigger, even though it's not as big as they were supposed to be, because again, just like everything else, the Entente fucking lies. Who would have guessed? Yeah, not really. They didn't lie about that. The Americans forced them to not give that land. So yeah, that happens. Bulgaria hardly loses anything. Honestly, they get out of the war pretty alright. The biggest thing they lose is Thrace. Now, we move on to Germany. Germany's not treated as well as Bulgaria. They lose a fuckload of land in the east to Poland. There's now a Poland. They lose some land to Denmark. They lose some land to Belgium, and they lose Alsace-Lorraine, the area they gained during the Franco-Prussian War, to the French. Very sad for Germany. And not only that, the cunts have to pay a lot of money. Money they frankly don't have. That's all happening. But there's the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire is basically, in the treaty, completely over. All of the land is practically stripped from the Ottoman Empire, and there's just a small little bit left in Anatolia for them. They don't like this bullshit. They fight a war against the Greeks, Italians, Armenians, Brits, and French to, get back their land and actually surprisingly win. By the way, I forgot to mention during 1915 to 1918, the Ottoman Empire killed 1.5 million Armenians. That happened. Yeah. Sorry, it just kind of slipped my mind. 1922, fucking Pasta Hitler shows up in Italy. The guy takes over the Italian government. We got fucking fascism now, boys. Welcome to the hell world. Italy's now fascist. What the fuck? 1921, Hitler takes over the Nazi party. Who the fuck's Hitler? No one knows who he is, but trust me, everyone's gonna know who he is in a couple years. He takes over some fringe bullshit. Everything's getting a little bit better though. And then 1929, the fucking American stock market crashes. 1929, fucking American stock market crashes. Everything's bad now. Everyone's really poor. So some nations decide to get rid of this thing called the gold standard, and nations that got rid of the gold standard, fast enough, recovered faster than others usually. Holman hates to admit it, but that's how it worked. Holman, you fucking idiot. So some nations recover better than others. The Soviet Union doesn't even get shit. 1933. Hitler. You guys remember Hitler? Yeah, he was a person. In the 1920s, he tried to take over the fucking German government by doing this little march into Munich. Tried, he was gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get all the German people. We're gonna march into Berlin, take over the government. If it fails, he gets shot, and a couple people die. Very sad for Hitler. Now, in 1933, though, he ends up actually getting charge of Germany. He's now the Chancellor of the German Reich. Want to know why? Because Paul von Hindenburg fucking dies, and now Hitler's in charge. No one's gonna go against him. Everything's very bad right now. Everything's getting worse. It's gonna get worse though. A couple years later, there's this place now in the world called Ukraine. At the time, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin, who's a cunt, decided to starve the Ukrainians. A bunch of people die. It's called the Holodomor. 1938. The German Reich. They're now remilitarizing. They got big army now, and they take over Austria. No one asks. No one cares. Austria's now Germany. Now they next go for Czechoslovakia. There's this place in Czechoslovakia called the Sudetenland. It has a bunch of ethnic Germans, and because Hitler thinks anyone who's German should be in his country, decides, hey, Britain, France, I know you're supposed to support these people, but you give us this, we won't expand anymore. And, it's Hitler, so of course they trust him. Hitler takes the Sudetenland. Fucking Neville Chamberlain, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, goes straight to back to the UK, holding the, treaty in his hand. War is averted. While he's waving that, Germany's now invading the rest of Czechoslovakia. That's right, Czechoslovakia is fucking dead. Bohemia and Moravia, that's now in Germany. Slovakia is now a German puppet state. They also lose land to Hungary. What a surprise. But it gets worse. 1939, September 1st of that year. Remember that. That's an important date. You have to remember September 1st, 1939. I think you do. I may not put it on there. Poland gets invaded by Germany because there's this thing called Danzig. And it's like, you give us Danzig, you Polish son of a bitch, or we will invade you. Poland saying, fuck you, that's our territory, doesn't give them Danzig. This is, then Germany invades. World War II, baby, woohoo! Yay, World War II's begun. Poland gets fucking murdered. France in the UK, they're being as kind as ever. They, help Poland out, kinda, not really. They do this thing called the phony war. They're just at war with the Germans, but not actually fighting them. In 1940, Hitler goes in, 1939, I should mention this. Soviet Union invades Finland. Why? Because Stalin's a fucking paranoid psychopath. Finland wasn't going to do shit, so he invaded it. War's actually really bad. Despite the fact the Soviet Union's much stronger and Finland is small as fuck, virtually have no air force, still almost loses. Finland somehow kicks the ass of one of the strongest nations in the world with a bunch of drunk skiers with fucking Molotov cocktails. Not even joking. This happened. There will be a video sometime this month. 1940. Germans are getting a bunch of iron from Norway and Sweden. And, British and French are like, hey, fuck you, stop supplying the Germans. They're like, fuck you. So they start mining, territorial waters around Norway so that they can't get ships to Germany. Germany, seeing this, decides to invade Denmark. Yes, Denmark. In 5 hours, Denmark gets destroyed. Denmark's now Germany. And then through Denmark, they invade Norway. Norway gets fucking destroyed. Norway is now Germany. Fun fact, Norway lasts longer than France. That's right. That happened. Germany is doing more stuff. They want to invade France like they did in World War II, but instead of this time, they go through not only Belgium, but Luxembourg and the Netherlands. That's right, they go straight through that shit. And for some reason, the French believed, holy shit, this forest will stop the Germans. It didn't. They rush a bunch of fucking tanks through that shit and go straight to Paris. That's right. Paris is now Germany. That's right. France is fucking dead. Parts of France are now Germany. The northern the northern half and the coastline are all occupied by the German military, and a fascist puppet state is created in the south. By the way, Italy joins the war. That happens. Before that, by the way, Italy gassed the fuck out of a bunch of Ethiopians. They're cunts. Not the Ethiopians. The Italians are cunts. You just stress that fuck out of that.
Stress it.
Whew. Okay, where am I now? 1940. Yeah, we have to continue in 1940. Finland loses the Winter War. They lose some territory to the Germans, even though, no, not the Germans, the Soviets. Fuck you. Fuck you, silly. So, it's 1940. France is gone, and is good old Hitler. He's like, oh, not the Germans, the British are done. There's no way they'll keep going with the war now that there's no France. Guess what? They're still going on with the war because there's now this new guy, Winston Churchill. He's really racist, but he also speaks nice, so people like him. So the Germans who are like, hey, what the fuck, Britain? Decide we're gonna invade Britain, but before they do that, they have to bomb the shit out of Britain, and they do, killing a lot of innocent people. The Germans are cockbags. Who would have guessed? But actually, fun fact, the British still somehow kick the fuck out of the Germans. Yay, Britain. Nice job. Okay, 1941. There's this thing called the fucking tripartite pact between Japan, Italy, and Germany. It's the official name of the Axis. I want to tripartite pact, official name of the Axis. Remember that, please. So this happens. More nations are added. Slovakia, which is a German puppet state, that's now in the tripartite pact. They're now in the war officially. Hungary wants to get more land because they lost 75% of it during the First World War. That tripartite pact, not bike tract. Fuck you. Tripartite pact. Hungary, they lose a bunch of land in World War I, so they want to get some back. They joined the Nazis. Hungary is now in World War II. Bulgaria, they want to get, no, not Bulgaria yet. Romania lost a fuckload of land to the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union are dickbags. Now, they also lose land to Bulgaria and Hungary because the Germans are douchebags and let them take it. Romania, not wanting to die, decides to join the Axis so they don't die. Romania is now on the side of the Axis in World War II. Now, Yugoslavia and Bulgaria are given the offer to join the pact so that they don't die. They join Bulgaria officially, but Yugoslavia only joined for 2 days. Oh, there's a fucking coup in Yugoslavia. The Yugoslav government's overthrown. They leave the Axis. Oh, Hitler doesn't like this, and Hitler talks to his top generals, and he decides, I have decided to destroy Yugoslavia. That was his actual words. I'm not even joking. That's all he said when it came to the coup. I have decided to destroy Yugoslavia. In 1941, Bulgaria, Germany, Italy, all the gang, they decide to destroy Yugoslavia, and they do it. Yugoslavia's fucking dead. Now there's this new puppet state called the independent state of Croatia. The only thing we'll do in this war is war crimes. That's it. It just kills a lot of Serbians. But Greece exists, and it's at war with Italy. Because Italy's like, oh, we're going to rebuild the Roman Empire, and we're going to kick the fuck out of the Greeks. Fun fact, they lose, and the Greeks actually push them into Albania, which is also part of Italy at the time. I forgot about that. So Germany invades Greece. They invade Greece. Greece dies. Greece is now dead, like Yugoslavia. But that's all in May. It's coming to the month. It's here. It's June 22nd, 1941. The Soviet Union, which was allies with Nazi Germany, are now getting invaded by the Nazis. That's right. World War II now has the commies in it, and the commies are fighting the Nazis. Who's gonna win? We don't know yet. All we know is that they push really far into the Soviet Union and then stop because it gets cold. That's right. It just gets too fucking cold. And that happens. Things happen. More war crimes. There's a lot of war crimes there. And then, let's see. Am I thinking of anything else in 1941 other than ones? Yeah, there's not just in the Soviet Union. There's fucking war crimes anywhere in Europe at this point. Now,
anywhere and everywhere.
Or it's December 7th, 1941. You're just chilling on the beach, smoking a cigar and beating your wife, and now all of a sudden, oh my god, that's a fucking airplane. Holy shit. That's right, it's the Japanese. The Japanese are now bombing your shit. Get fucked. And now America is now in war because, Japan decided to bomb the hell out of them because they're not giving them oil. Who ever thought about that? America's in the war now. Things are gonna get bad for Japan really fast. We go into 1942. It's kind of uneventful that year. America invades North Africa, and Operation Torch North Africa is seized by the British and the Americans. There's the French resistance, but the French resistance, in my honest opinion, are really not that good. They were all right, but they really weren't that important, so I'm going to kind of skip over them, to be honest. 1942, what other important stuff happens? Yeah, beginning of certain battles and stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the Eastern Front. The Germans are still pushing in. By the way, Finland is also invading the Soviet Union to get back some of their territory. They're not in the Axis, but they're just invading because fuck you. Let's see what else happened in 1942. Oh yeah, Holocaust. The Holocaust begins. That's right. The Nazis are bastards. Whoever would have guessed. And Hitler, he don't like the Jews very much, or really anyone who is in an ethnic area. Well, ethnic German. Now I'm gonna use the fucking word Aryan because it's stupid as shit. Germany starts taking a bunch of, you know, Jews, Slavs, gay people, not Muslims, like basically anyone who he doesn't like, sends them to concentration camps scattered throughout Europe, where they will many times work hard labor, and in certain camps and in other camps they will be systematically executed. It is one of the biggest genocides in world history. 11 million people die in these camps. It's a very terrible thing. Sad part's over. 1943. Things are happening. The Soviet Union starting to push the Germans a bit back. And now Italy. We all remember Italy. It's the fucking incompetent part of the Axis. Now, the Americans and the British are like, hey, fuck Italy. No, not really. Actually, we wanted to invade France. America was like, hey, can we just invade France? Britain's like, nah, we gotta go for Italy, because Italy is gonna be the big problem. So, for some reason, we listened to the British, which we should never, ever do, ever. Don't ever listen to the British. We invade Italy. That's right. We're invading them now.
Just one sec. You're telling a Brit never to listen to the British.
Yeah. Listen, now we go. Surprisingly, Italy has a coup. That's right, Italy, the Kingdom of Italy. It's over. We're done with it. Mussolini, fuck him. Get out of here, you dick. We're joining the Allies. That's right, Italy's now in the Allies. But oh, what's that? The Nazis just saved Mussolini and occupied northern Italy. That's right, there's now the Italian Social Republic. Italy is now also in the Allies and in the Axis at the same time. This is the Italian Civil War. Things are happening. Things are happening. Trust me. 1943 is kind of uneventful, actually. 1944, this is where shit gets fucking real, boys. Shit gets real.
Woo.
Shut your mouth, Holman. 1944, it is, not much happens yet, but in June 6th of 1944, that's right, look at France. Boys, we're here now. America, Canada, and Britain invade France. Because fuck the French and the Germans. They both suck. Oh, but it's a conspiracy theory, Scully. None of this happened. World War II is not even real. That's right, Normandy D-Day. We're invading. Fucking people die on the beaches, but we seize it. The war is now in France. And a couple weeks later, that's right, Operation Bagration. It's Operation Bagration. This happens. The Soviet Union begins a giant offensive into Germany and kick their ass. Army Group Center dies, and I mean dies. They don't exist anymore. They also do some things. They invade Romania, because Romania is in the Axis, under Ion Antonescu. People don't like getting invaded by the Soviet Union, so they decide, fuck this shit, we're joining the Allies. That's right, Romania is now in the Allies. King Michael overthrows Antonescu. Romania is in the Allies, and they're now invading Hungary and Germany. Oh, but Bulgaria doesn't want any of this shit either. They overthrow their government. Well, I don't know if they actually overthrew their government. I might be wrong about that. Anyways, they joined the Allies too. Bulgaria and Romania are now in the Allies. And also Finland. Finland's also tired of war. So they don't really join the Allies, but they kind of just invade to tell the Germans to fuck off. They invite the Germans. Kind of part of the Allies, a little bit. This is it. This is the end. We're getting close to the end of the war. Everything sucks for the Germans. They're getting invaded on all sides, and everyone's betraying them at every second. Also, yeah, the Hungarians they're like, we're done with this. They try to leave. Germany doesn't let them. Operation Panzerfaust. Germany invades Hungary and sets up a puppet state. Germany does that a lot. So things are happening. It's 1945, baby. The Germans are getting their asses kicked, and the Soviet Union's at Berlin. After the Battle of Berlin, Soviet Union captures it, and the war is practically over. Fun fact, on, I believe, May 7th, or 6th or 5th, I can't remember when the fuck it was, The battle for Castle Itter occurs when American and German German soldiers loyal to the Austrian resistance fight the SS. That happened. Not gonna lie, it's pretty interesting. World War II is basically over. Hitler's like, "Oh, this fucking sucks. I didn't want this shit," and just kills himself. What a pussy. Hitler's dead. World War II is almost over, but there's still Japan. What do we do about Japan? For years, we have just been taking their islands, but now we're done with the war. It's getting boring as fuck. So America creates this thing. It's called a nuclear bomb, and we nuke Hiroshima. And then because they still decide not to fuck off, we nuke Nagasaki. And we're like, bitch, don't test us. We'll do it again. So they're like, okay, we're done with this shit. On September 2nd, 1945, World War II ends. Yeah, everything's good. It's all good, everybody. World War II is over. Now, the Nazis are gone, but oh no, now there's communists. There are communists in Eastern Europe, and all the nations that were liberated in Eastern Europe, they're all now communists. That's right. Cold War time, baby. Everything's gonna get fucking worse. Nothing is good anymore. Yay. Fun fact, Germany split into 4 occupied zones. France gets a zone for doing nothing in the war. Britain gets a zone, America gets a zone, and the commies get a zone. Yeah, that happens. There we go. We got an occupied Germany, and, the city of Berlin's also occupied in 4 sectors. And, it's in their zone. So the Soviet Union's like, no, we're going to blockade all of your shit. You are not allowed in Eastern, Western Berlin. Like, we're gonna starve them, and they're gonna have to join us. JK, they forgot about fucking airplanes. That's right, airplanes. We drop a bunch of food, and the whole blockade fails for them. We win. America number one. Yay. So now, 1949. Germany is united again, kind of. It's in 2 nations now. There's now a capitalist West Germany allied to, the United States, Britain, and France. And then there's the communist East Germany allied to the Soviet Union, and that's it, because there's no one else to turn to. Yay. Cold War time, baby. Berlin is back. Berlin's also split in 2. Yes, that's right. Part of West Germany is in East Germany. Don't ask. It happens. 1953. Joseph Stalin's really old, so he fucking dies. There's a big problem there. Everyone's like, who do we make leader next? Do we make Khrushchev leader? Do we make Malenkov? Do we make Beria? Do we make Bulganin? So everyone's like, okay, we don't know who to make leader, but all we know, Beria is a scumbag. Beria was literally considered by Stalin to be his Himmler. Fun fact about Himmler, he was a Nazi, and he was a really bad guy. So they killed Beria. Beria fucking dies. So there's this little schism, like who's going to be the next leader? It kind of goes for Malenkov for a minute, and then there's Khrushchev. Khrushchev's here, the kind of reformer. Whoever would have guessed, Jam? I would never have guessed it. Now that's happening. It's the 1950s. Shit is going down. I might be wrong. Wait, give me a second. I need to look something up to make sure I have the date right, because this could be a problem. When did we capture him? Okay, I'm pretty sure in the 1960s, there's this guy, Adolf Eichmann. He's a cunt. No one likes Eichmann. He's a Nazi, but he didn't get captured. He escaped to Argentina. Some fucking Rudolf Clement or some shit. That's his little name. So Mossad, which is an intelligence agency in Israel. Oh yeah, there's now in Israel, a Jewish state in the middle of a Muslim Middle East. Nothing will go wrong. Don't you worry. So yeah, Mossad, they go to Argentina. They find Eichmann. They kidnap him. He gets sent to Jerusalem for trial, and he gets hanged. He dies. Fuck him. No one likes him. Adolf the Nazi is... No, not... Oh yeah, Adolf Eichmann. I was like, Adolf. Yeah, Adolf Eichmann. He escapes. He gets captured and killed. Yay, happy ending, kind of. There's still this one guy, Josef Mengele, in Brazil. But they can't go after him because they kind of violated the existence of Argentina there. So they can't really do that for Brazil. Mengele dies in exile. Okay. Cold War continues. There's still the Cold War. I keep forgetting about that. 1960, I'm pretty sure. Berlin, how it existed? People in the East kept traveling between the 2 sides. And they're like, hey, this Western side doesn't suck dick. I'm going to live here. Commies don't like this because, oh no, if they start moving there, maybe kind of, makes us look bad. So they build a wall. Damn right, Trump's dream, it isn't original. He took it from the commies. They build a wall down the streets of Berlin. Berlin is now split into by a wall. That's right, and we're gonna keep all the capitalists out. Yay. Cold War is getting worse. Oh yeah, there's this guy John F. Kennedy in charge of the United States now, and a lot of people like him. He's a very open-minded human being. So there's this thing called what am I trying to think of? It's called Cuban Missile Crisis. That's commies. The Soviet Union puts nukes in Cuba, aiming at us. Why would they do this? Who would ever guess? Maybe it's because we put nukes in Turkey, aiming right at them. This happens. There's a little crisis. Are we going to invade Cuba to get rid of the nukes? It kind of ends nicely. No one gets nukes. World's okay. We take nukes out of Turkey. They take nukes out of Cuba. Everything kind of ends alrightish. Other than Castro, who's fucking pissed. Oh yeah, Kennedy dies. Kennedy gets shot in the back of the head. His head explodes all over his wife. Yeah, that happens. What next? Oh yeah, Israel. Not a lot of people like the existence of Israel in the Middle East, who's kind of allied to the Soviet Union. So, in the I think I might have done this a little too much. Yeah, he was sitting next to his wife. He got shot in the back of his head, and yeah, basically, yeah, that happened. That happened. It's very terrible event. Kind of. I really not what people talk about. I just got it. God damn, that took me way too long to think about. Jesus Christ. What am I trying to think about next? Oh, yeah, Israel, not a lot of people like its existence. So Egypt, Syria, which was Egypt and Syria were one country at the time, the United Arab Republic, Jordan, and I think Iraq. I might be wrong about Iraq. I don't know if it was Iraq, but they all invade Israel. And in 6 days, this is the 6-day war, Israel kicks their ass and annexes the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. The fun fact about the Gaza Strip, that was in the news. The Gaza Strip was in the news recently, a couple months ago, because Israel was bombing the fuck out of it. Who would have guessed? They decided not to take the Sinai Peninsula because the UN's like, can we not do this really? This would cause way too much problems. They get back to Egypt. Egypt is one of the first Arab nations to recognize the existence of Israel. Golan Heights is still part of Israel, but it's kind of disputed with the UN really saying that's actually part of Syria. And then there's now the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Palestine. Israel's like, no, this is Israel. Palestine's like, no, this is Palestine. And everyone doesn't want to hear about it anymore, and we're getting sick and tired of this bullshit. It's been happening for too long, and I don't care about it anymore. Yeah, that happens. All right, we move into the 70s. 70s happens. Khrushchev for fucking up the whole, missile crisis. People are done with him. They replace him with Brezhnev. Brezhnev is different. He crushes rebellions and shit. By the way, 1956, Hungary rebels against the Soviet Union. Fuck you, Soviet Union. We're gonna do what we want. And they say, fuck you, Hungary. Screw you. You're doing what we want. And Hungary dies, kind of. They get reborn as commie. That happens. Oh yeah, then there's these two things. NATO and Warsaw Pact. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, made of the United States, Britain, France, all the Western allies in North America and Western Europe. Then there's the Warsaw Pact, made of the Soviet Union and its satellite states. I also forgot to mention there was a Korean War, 1950-1953. Korea split in two. There's North Korea, South Korea. They kind of fight. Nothing really happens. Not as important. 1960s and 70s. Vietnam. We're invading Nam, baby. There's two Vietnams. There's a North and a South, and our North is trying to take over the South to unite Vietnam under glorious communism. And so America sends in a bunch of troops. We don't talk about Nam. Nothing happened there. Everything was fine. We won the war. That's all you need to know. So Nam wins epic American victory. Saigon is the capital of Vietnam. Everything's good. Sadly enough, as much as I'm just gonna pretend, that's the only war we've ever lost. Yes, we lost it. Sadly, Vietnam, we lost it to the commies. The commies win. Very sad. It's a very sad day for this country. It is the only war we have lost. We will debate about this later, Peacock. It is the only one we've lost. So yeah, that happened. What else am I trying to? Yes, we lost it to guerrilla fighters. 1970s, stuff happening. Oh yeah, there's so the people are making more nukes. We don't like nukes. Stop making the nukes. You're gonna kill each other. They don't care. Oh yeah, China becomes communist. China's communist and they're allies with the Soviet Union. But then there's a Sino-Soviet split. They two are no longer friends. And they actually start leaning to be friends with America, kind of, not really, just like, hey, you're okay. We start trading with them. Then there's, yeah, that happens. What am I, well, what else? Relations start to cool, though. 1980s, stuff starts to cool. We're like, hey, maybe you communists aren't so bad. And then there's Ronald Reagan. Fuck Ronald Reagan. He sucks. I hate him. He's like, I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Okay, history lesson. History lesson, not
What?
politics. History lesson.
Yes, I know. I was just making it clear. Ronald Reagan sucks. Ronald Reagan, he goes, the Soviet Union is an evil empire, which kind of makes us, you know, fight with the Soviet Union again. Not really, just, you know, we're no longer friends again. But then he's like, hey, maybe you're not as bad, and we meet with Gorbachev. Gorbachev is the general secretary of the Soviet Union. He's really nice. He gives people freedom. Glasnost and Perestroika. He gives the people of the we're not an empire. Fuck you. We just have territories. They're not colonies. Totally not. So he's giving the people of the Soviet Union and Eastern Bloc freedom. He's badass. That man single-handedly ends the Cold War. But puppet states of the Soviet Union, they're allowed to do whatever they want. Poland's no longer communist. They get democracy, freedom. Now Hungary, they go for democracy, freedom. Romania, they go for democracy, but they have to, unlike them, they have a fucking violent revolution and kill their leaders. But freedom. Bulgaria, freedom. Czechoslovakia, they have freedom finally. We don't get the Yugoslavia yet. That still exists. Albania, they don't really have freedom yet. They're still kind of crazy. But East Germany, they don't have freedom yet because they kind of refuse to. Erich Honecker, who's in charge of East Germany, is like, fuck you, no freedom, screw you, no capitalism. And the people are getting pissed. They're like, we just want free. Come on, stop it. Even Gorbachev's like, stop it, you prick. Oh, and what is that? It's 1989. The Berlin Wall crumbles because some guy made a mistake. Not even joking. Some guy kind of just like, oh yeah, I think the wall's coming down from what I can tell. He didn't really know, so he gave the wrong date. In free passage, Berlin Wall collapses. And Erich Honecker is, basically everyone's like, there's nothing we can do. Everyone's getting tired of this Cold War bullshit. We're uniting now. Germany's united under the Federal Republic of Germany. That's modern day Germany, if you didn't know. Everything's good. Soviet Union, though. We still have to look at the Soviet Union. It's 1991. Gorbachev is in control. Gorbachev gets kidnapped, kind of, by some communists. They try to do a coup. But coup fails. And what happens is the collapse of the Soviet Union into a bunch of states. There is now a Russia. There is now a Belarus. There's a Ukraine, a Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. There's an Azerbaijan, an Armenia, a Georgia. There's a Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. Those all now exist in their independent countries. No more communism, other than in a couple states, but we'll talk about that later. Yugoslavia still exists. Yugoslavia was under the leadership of Tito. Tito was a badass. Josip Broz Tito. Problem is, Tito is a man and dies. There are only 5 communist states left right now. Tito dies. So Yugoslavia, they're trying to be like, okay, Tito's not dead. Totally, they know he's dead, but they're trying to kind of forget about that and just act like he's still alive. But he can't. And there's this one guy, Slobodan Milosevic. He takes over the Serbia part of Yugoslavia and tries to basically make Yugoslavia under the rulership of the Serbs. Croatia and Slovenia, who are also part of Yugoslavia, don't like this. So they're like, fuck this. We're out. Independence, baby. Oh, no. This is bad. This is the beginning of the Yugoslav Wars. Oh, no. North Korea, by the way. Oh, no. Yugoslav Wars begin. That's right. Wars in the Balkans. Yugoslavia is collapsing. Oh, no. Very sad. A lot of war crimes. People are going to get shot. So that they break away. Slovenia breaks away successfully. Croatia, though, not so successfully. But while this is also happening, North Macedonia, they just leave. No one cares about North Macedonia. Who even gives a fuck about it? It's not even really real. So they just they leave. No one cares. But then Bosnia and Herzegovina leave. Problem with Bosnia and Herzegovina, there's a large ethnic minority of Serbs and Croats. So Serbia Yugoslavia, Croatia all fight in Bosnia. And Bosnia wants to just, be an independent state, so they're fighting the Serbs and the Croats. And while there's fucking Srpska under Radovan Karadzic. This guy's a bastard, and he's currently in jail right now. You want to know why he's in jail? Because in the 1990s, Srpska decides to commit an ethnic genocide against the Bosnians. Who would have guessed? But ethnic genocide in the Balkans never happened before. No. Yeah, they kill a bunch of innocent Bosnians, and people are like, whoa, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You guys are insane. So now, people are now international condemnation of Yugoslavia. They're also kind of losing. So this is it. They kind of have a peace treaty. Croatia gets independence. Bosnia gets independence. Yugoslavia has to let them go. But still, there's more places in Yugoslavia that aren't free yet. Specifically, Kosovo. Kosovo has condiment of Yugoslavia. Indeed, it's a condiment now. Kosovo wants independence because they're mostly Albanians and the Serbs treat them like shit. So there's this thing called the KLA or KPLA. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. Albanian terrorist organization starts doing shit in Kosovo, so the Yugoslav army starts crushing them, but also killing civilians. This is the Kosovo War, very bad. Yugoslavia, basically starts an ethnic genocide against the Albanians, not the Muslims this time, but the Albanians. Very bad, very bad. We don't like that. NATO, which still exists, bombs the fuck out of Yugoslavia. People don't like that we did it, but we did, so who cares? And it ends the war. Yeah, it's over now. I think that's most of it. Okay, but then we'll move a little bit. 2003, Yugoslavia adopts a new name, but it's still Yugoslavia. And in 2006, Yugoslavia ends with Montenegro leaving Serbia and the creation of Serbia. Yep, Yugoslavia is over. In 2008, though, Kosovo leaves as well. We don't know if Kosovo is independent yet. We still haven't decided, and we're still wondering to this day. But it really does exist. Serbia has no administration over it. Yeah. Yeah, it's Yugoslavia. It just has a new name. The Union of Serbia, Montenegro. It's still just basically Yugoslavia. People call it Yugoslavia still. But yeah, so yeah. Am I forgetting anything else? Oh yeah, fascism. Fascism doesn't end after World War II. Spain goes fascist. Yeah, that's right. In 1936, Spain had a civil war and they go fascist, and they only go until 1975 when Franco dies. And also in 1967, the Greek government gets overthrown. Yes, Peacock, it was a fucking fascist state. It was. 1967, Greece has
referring to the comment.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay. I don't know how you can argue with that.
I'm not arguing with that.
Okay, yeah.
Phalangists were definitely fascists.
Yeah. In 1967, Greece has a coup by these the three colonels. Military is now in charge of Greece, and Greece becomes a fascist military dictatorship. It's very bad. They fight the Turks over Cyprus because Cyprus has a lot of Greeks, but they have some Turks. So they fight a war, and now Cyprus is kind of split in two. Everyone recognizes Cyprus, but there's also North Cyprus, which is Turkish, that only Turkey recognizes. But yeah, this embarrassment, the fascist Greek government gets overthrown in a fucking revolution. That's it. It's over for fascism in Greece. Fascism in Europe kind of ends, There's still Alexander Lukashenko in charge of Belarus. He's not really a fascist, he's just kind of a cocksucker. Is there anything else I'm kind of forgetting? Give me a second, I'm going to check my notes, make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh yes, decolonization. During all of this, Africa is under European control. Very bad. Europeans are a bunch of dicks to the innocent Africans. It's a terrible thing. But after World War II, this is the only thing the Soviet Union and the United States ever agreed upon, is that the Europeans need to get the fuck out of Africa. They do. And the last African country to be decolonized by a European power was Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe had this thing called the Rhodesian Bush War because there was Rhodesia fighting against communist insurgents, and Rhodesia loses, Rhodesia becomes Zimbabwe, and yeah. Then there's also Namibia. That's right. Namibia is part of South Africa at the time. South Africa is this thing called an apartheid state. Basically segregation, but a little bit worse. Not segregation. Apartheid ends in South Africa after people are like, really, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? It's 1990. Get with the times. Namibia gets independence from South Africa. South Africa stops being apartheid. Very good. I think that's really all I have to think about, right? That's it. Is that it? I think that's it, right? Peacock, is there anything else I should mention in the 1900s?
I think you've covered pretty much everything.
All right, good. Let me go turn on my light so I can actually see what I am doing, and we will move to the Kahoot. That's right, we have
Definitely
Yay.
covered.
Kahoot. Skelly, if you fail this, I
Definitely
will
covered
come
more
to the
than I
UK
did.
and I will murder you in front of your parents. Do
What
not
do-
fuck this up.
What do you consider passing? Because that's very different between England and America.
Getting at least half.
Get 50%.
Okay, turn off the BGM. I want to make sure the stream still works.
Background midget.
All right, stream's going well. I'm gonna get this epic Kahoot up. Yeah, give me a second.
Should we participate or should we not participate?
No,
That's the real
well,
question
you
here.
can. I'm not participating because I have to run it, but you can if you want.
I think I'm just going to watch.
I'm gonna turn this on.
Well, since
Right.
I
Play.
did make up half of the questions,
Host.
so I don't know if that would be fair.
All right, can you see the screen? Wait, give me. Oh, is it lagging? Please don't be lagging. All right, history test. I don't. Huh? Classic, I guess.
You're gonna want to do classic, yeah.
Boom, boom.
This music
I'm honestly
slaps.
Type
surprised,
in
but
the code, boys.
I'm honestly surprised, but apparently Kahoot is not a category on Twitch. I'm honestly surprised by that. Okay.
All right.
Odd.
Now let me just transition over real quick to.
I hope the.
There we go. We got Kahoot, baby, and we got Kahoot. It's kind of weirdly put on my screen, but whatever. I'll deal with the problem. Whatever.
Should be 3 players. There should be Skelly, Holman, and Jam.
That's it. Jam, do you want to participate?
If they want to participate, yeah. No, we're gonna make them.
Fuck you, whoever put that. Put your actual name.
What if he did? Dun dun. No kidding.
Ben.
Yeah, no.
Is that you, Skelly?
Don't ever know.
Skelly?
What?
Let's go.
Yeah, where is Skelly actually? Skelly, you there?
I'm here. Can you not hear me?
Oh, are you? Who's? Oh, that's Jam, isn't it? Fucking hell! Who's putting the? Is it? I don't have viewers.
Alright,
Okay,
we're ready
I'm
to
actually
start.
wondering. Are you in here?
I'm in the game, yeah.
Who are you? Which one are you? Which one are you? I need to know who's Ben and who's Dan. Which one's Jam and which one's Scully? Fuck you! I'm not get out. Just put your actual. Just put Scully. Fucking god. Too many of this shit.
I think we pissed the teacher off.
Jam, I assume you're not. I assume you're not participating. I take that
Why
as a
is
yes.
Jam not saying anything?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I put my name wrong. Now I'm a fucking Among Us map.
No, stop. Alright.
I'm a fucking Among Us map now.
Is everyone ready to start?
Yes.
Jam, why
Scully,
aren't you
ready
saying
to start?
Yeah, sure. Why isn't Jam saying anything?
I don't know. Jam just said.
Who knows?
You gotta look at my screen.
Yeah, I am.
History test.
Too.
Not loading. Okay, let's...
What religions existed in Europe in 1700?
Well, that's a good start.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you got that one wrong somehow. That was supposed to be one of the easiest ones. Oh, no. What Christian
was.
schism caused the rise of Protestantism is otherwise known as the European Reformation. You didn't cover this, by the way. Peacock.
Oh, I talked about it briefly. It was I
Alright.
meant to spend more time on it, but I kind of forgot to.
God, who put Eastern Western schism was between Eastern Orthodoxy and Catholicism?
Indeed, it was.
It was Protestant Reformation. Yeah.
Yes! I got a
Nice
question
job,
right.
Kelly. You got a question right. You didn't. We didn't talk about this
I
either.
remember.
Unless we did. Again, I had to go
I'm
first.
pretty
There we
I
go.
I was pretty brief in
Oh.
in some of them, but I know that I
It's
talked
alright.
about all of them.
French, my favorite religion.
Wait, what? Fuck.
No?
But,
What side did you fight in?
but,
You got 6, 5. Yeah.
no one got it right.
Oh wait, no one did. You put Catholic. They fought on the Protestant side.
The Catholic.
They fought on the Protestant side.
Yeah.
The
How
Cat.
far?
I was explicitly said that they fought on the Protestant
Yeah, you
side.
probably
There we
did,
go, yeah.
but my memory.
Huh.
This is the question I was talking about. That it's so.
Oh.
Russia won.
That's sad.
Hey, Brayden, I don't think I'm gonna pass.
That's my map, by the way.
The-
My shoot's a little bit delayed, but that's fine.
Okay.
Hey, good shit. Nice job.
Tease, Jam's trying to cheat.
Ooh.
Wait, Jam's cheating. What?
Sending me the answers,
Yeah.
but I'm just not
Stop.
looking at the chat, so
Good job.
it's not helping.
Just Jam.
Oh, I remember. Yay. Okay, I can read.
I mentioned it. It was just a bit brief, so if you didn't get this one, it's okay.
Wait, oh, I can.
I remember. This doesn't even have an and.
Yeah, I forgot an and on one of them. Yeah. Very good, Skelly.
The only one that said triple entente.
Which one?
Sorry, did you have to put 9/11 as one of them?
It's an option. Who knows?
You never know.
Nice job.
Except you do.
Why did we join the war? Was it the sinking
Oh,
of the RMS Lusitania, bombing of Pearl Harbor, the September program, which I forgot to mention? That I'll just give you that. That was the partition of Europe after World War I if the Germans won, or the Zimmerman Telegraph. Was it the Zimmerman Telegraph? I wonder if it was the Zimmerman Telegraph. It might have been the Zimmerman Telegraph. Who knows?
Hey, that,
Teacher, the teacher's trying to cheat.
I just said it might be. Who knows?
knows. Could it be?
I specifically put this in here just to vex Holman
Wait, what is it?
Or I wonder.
because for some reason he simmed for the gold
Could it be?
standard.
Also not grammatically correct, but
Doesn't matter. Yeah, Holman. Fun fact: the gold standard sucked.
Oh boy.
what the fuck? Did you mention this?
Yes.
I tried to mostly only stuff that I would be quizzing on.
It's okay if you don't get this one.
I mean,
Wait, they had an alliance? Fuck, I was probably.
Yeah. Soviet Union was allied with
They
the
did
German Empire.
indeed.
No,
Oh.
Yes,
German
indeed,
Empire.
they did.
The non-aggression pact with Poland was a separate thing. The treaty ending the Greco-Turkish War was the Treaty of Lausanne, I think. And the alliance between Yugoslavia, Romania, and Czechoslovakia was the Little Entente.
Okay.
I mentioned this one like 32 times.
no, I think it was the Treaty of Lasagna.
I'm sorry, what do you just call lasagna? It's fucking Lausanne. Lausanne.
Nah, it says lasagna.
There we go. The tripartite pact.
Clearly, it's
The Treaty of
lasagna.
Lausanne again. That was the one that ended the Greco-Turkish War. Collective Security Treaty Organization is the alliance between Russia and former Soviet states. And the Treaty of Alliance, if I'm correct, that's one between us and that was a former one between us and Cuba. Soup.
Who hasn't been answering? Because this is the.
I
I think there's some guy in my chat. I think.
Yeah.
Let's see.
When did Operation Barbarossa begin?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
Oh wait. September 2nd,
1800.
1945 is when the war ended. September 6th, 1944 is D-Day. December 1st, 1939 is the beginning of the war. And June 22nd, 1941 is the beginning of Operation Barbarossa. What was the Warsaw Pact? An alliance between the Soviet Union and China, military alliance between the Soviet Union and the satellite states, a military alliance between the Western Allies and of Europe and North America, or a foreign between nations not allied with any major power. Scully, if you're struggling, just look at the fucking thing.
I'm trying to look at the thing,
Yeah,
but
there you
okay. I couldn't make sense of it.
What was it?
At least you're getting some questions right now. Woo.
Honestly, I don't think it's more than just random chance. Wait, I got it right. Damn. Also, why were two of those right?
Because it's half and half. Western Sahara was it was the last Spanish one decolonized. Swaziland was decolonized, but again, not early. Zimbabwe and Namibia are kind of half and half. Some people consider it Zimbabwe because it was decolonized by the British, but some people consider it Namibia because it was decolonized by South Africa. That's why I made sure to mention South Africa, like randomly. All right, last one. Who was the last General Secretary of the Soviet Union? Nikolai Bulganin, Mikhail Gorbachev, Konstantin Chernenko, I almost said Chernenko, or Grigory Malenkov. Keyword, one of them still alive today.
I only remember you
Yeah,
mentioning one of them.
And I'm going to mail him something.
Cool.
It was Mikhail Gorbachev. Nice job, Soup. Let's see, come on, Scully. Hey, he passed, kind of. Still pretty shit, but alright, nice.
Fuck you.
Not
In England,
No,
that's
yeah,
an
he
A
did
star.
pretty good. Hey, what one did you get wrong, Holman?
Like,
Oh yeah, the James
the,
and
the French one.
So, at least pass. Good job.
Hey. Oh, fuck, I just fucking knocked my mic. Alright.
all yours. So I congratulate you
welcome.
all on your mediocre
Epic win.
showing.
Yeah, especially Soup. Soup's the best.
Yeah, nice job, Soup.
Good job,
Go
Soup.
Soup!
Job.
Oh, Soup! Thank you, everyone, for tuning in with this epic history teaching, whatever the fuck this mental thing is. Thank you, Skelly, for letting me and Peacock teach you about history. Did you learn anything?
I mean, technically, yes, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see if I remember it. I won't.
Better- Yeah, no,
And
yeah, I
we
fucking
know,
you son
we
of a bitch.
know,
Okay,
we
goodbye.
know.
I've already
Bye,
forgotten.
guys.
Bye.
God damn it.
Bye.
Disaster.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.